Hey, happy Monday. This is Beth Knaus from That's a Spade. And I was having a conversation this morning with a friend and colleague, and we were talking about the need for longer term consistency in many things in your business. And often what happens is in my world, I see people put content out, and if they put it out and they don't get, decent responses in a week or maybe 2 weeks, they want to go back and change everything. And before you do that, I want you to really go back and think about the thing we can't hear enough, and that is that just because you post something doesn't mean that people see it, right? So you do have to post it way more than you would think that you do. And you then have to listen, whether you're in your networking groups or whether you're online doing some engagement. What are the responses people are giving to your content? What do you hear people asking for? What questions are you getting? And really listen. And then you can go back and tweak that content, but you should really stay on the same path that you are on for a bit. And many times we feel like we're all over the place with our content because we are. And I find that often the reason that people are all over the place is that they don't have a strong foundation. They don't have content pillars. They're not really sure what language matches their brand. They haven't figured out their values, and their messaging just isn't strong enough to stand on, right? No pun intended in talking about the foundation that you need. So you need a good, strong messaging foundation, and then you need patience, and you need to listen, and you need to tweak your content. And the last thing I'm going to tell you, it's something I heard somebody say, stays with me every day. You have to sell what people want and then give them what they need. We can see what people need. So, like for me, I know when people need their website content written for them, but that may not be what they're saying. They might say that they don't have time, or they might say that they don't trust somebody else to write in their voice, or they don't think they need a writer because they were an advanced English student in high school, or, all valid reasons to the person who's saying them. But I also know the time it takes and the research that goes into it and the collaboration with a graphic designer and, the back and forth on editing and the time that I need the client to put in that they're not prepared for. So there are many things, and I'm just using myself as an example. So for people like that, what I sell is, let's have a one-on-one session. We'll spend 60 minutes together collaborating. We'll be in a working Google Doc, and we can start to put your stuff together. And I do that because I know they need to trust me, that I can get their voice and that I can write in a way that they would write. And many times that happens in that hour. Maybe people need 2 or 3 hours to see it. And maybe I need 2 or 3 hours to really nail their voice in a way that matters to them. But then usually they're ready to hand it off. Or sometimes people are overwhelmed by the cost of a website project, and they are paying the graphic designer and they don't want to go all in for a writer. And I'll say, well, you can get a 3-hour retainer, right? Or a 5-hour retainer. It's less expensive than writing your full website copy, but you can get started and I can edit some of the things that you do. I can make suggestions. We can spend that time brainstorming. We can spend those 3 or 5 hours in the retainer you choose doing whatever it is you need to get to the finish line of completing the website copy in a way that you're satisfied with and that your graphic designer can work with in the new template for your site. So you really need to figure out, what do people want, right? So for me, it's that they want somebody who's a consultant, someone they can trust, who's going to say things the way they want to say them, or find ways to say them that the client can't come up with themselves. But I know they need website copy and they may not need a full package. They need other options to get involved. So think about that with your business and, what are you selling? What are people asking for? And all right, I know I said I was done saying what I wanted to say, but the last thing is, in terms of consistency of your content and continuing to tweak instead of going back to the drawing board and restarting, which by the way only causes confusion to people who have seen your writing and then it changes, right? So you want to make some tweaks, but just because you hung your shingle and you're ready to sell doesn't mean that people are ready to buy. But they're still watching you. So when the time comes and they are ready to buy, you've consistently put your message out there, and your best client knows that you're the best expert for them. If you have any questions, I'd love to have a chat. Happy to help you with any struggles you're having. And that's it. I hope you have a great week.